A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I welcome you all in our today's online session of probability and statistics. Hope you all are fine and having good health. We start today's session of our subject. It is divided into two parts. The number one is probability and the second one is statistics. So we start the course with the part of statistics. uh, the definition of stats, we can also statistics in the short form of stats. It's a science that deals with the collection, presentation, representation, organization, and interpretation of data. The kind of data which is sequence based, unsequence based, realistic kind of data which we represent for our different aspects of presenting, representing, organizing, interpretation of different kind of aspects. These are we call the statistics. The statistical data is also a collection of the useful information, and which is the data are of two types. The number one category is the numeric data, and another one category of data is the non-numeric data. So these are the most important and common aspects of data. Another aspect of collection of data, that how can we collect the data in different aspects, and these are the two ways: direct way of collecting data and indirect way of collecting data. In the same aspects that is related to the aspect which is called the statistics, which is also be categorized into two different aspects, which is the descriptive data, and the descriptive data which you can see, collect, present, organize, and find some results from the data. And the another aspect of statistics, that is you can see in divided in another part, which inferential the data, conclusion, interpretations kind of data. These are related to the statistical aspects of dividing the data of descriptive and in inferential kind of data. During the lecture and after that, if you have any kind of question, query, or difficulty, you may ask. I will answer the kind of question and resolve your queries in real aspects. So you can raise a question by the raise hands and type the question. I will answer the kind of query. So feel free to ask the kind of question. I will answer these aspects. So coming towards the numeric data, which is also divided into two aspects, which is the group data and another one is ungrouped data. The group data which we collect of different sample aspects, class interval. You can see there is mention is CI, that is class interval aspect. Class intervals, marks of student class intervals, that is 0 to 1 category of marks, which is get by 5 students, 3 to 5 get by some different kind of students, and 6 to 8 marks uh, attained by different students, and 9 to 11 marks get by the another 4 students, like example. And all these are total of the frequency by which a student get the marks are 20. So the categorization of this marks, you can see arrangement of data is be called group data. So in interval form, if data sequentially mention, we called group data. So this kind of numeric data arrangement is we called a group data, in which data represent in the class interval with the frequency of 5. Further, the next aspect, that is the ungrouped data. You can see the ungrouped data. It is represented the marks of students of a particular subject without any interval, which is represented in the form of rows and the original kind of data like 9, 5, 6, 7, 2. Arrangement of this kind of data is we called a group data arrangement. So without the interval data, we can say it's ungrouped data, and with the interval kind of data, you can see like this interval versus the frequency. This arrangement data is we called the group data. Moreover, we further moving towards the next aspect, that is the data collection from the entire student is called the population data. Sample data, the data collected from part of population data, conversion of ungrouped data into group data is called frequency distribution. Frequency distribution means the data which is the related with the interval. Information find from the population data is called parameters. That particular information that is get from the parameters. In picture, you can see the block diagram. Population data provide information find from the population data. Parameters in kind of mean, median, variance, standard deviation. These are the parameters which we get extract from the information, the data, population data, and the statistical quantities, parameters we call mean, variance, and deviation derive from these aspects of information. Further, the sample data which we get from any information and the model is the statistics. As an example, the mean, standard deviation, all the process kind of things are proceed by this aspect. Measure of central tendency, which is divided into three aspects. The central tendency is that given the unique single representation value data, and it is categorized into three aspects, that is mean, median, and mode. Mean, median, and mode. In your previous classes, in your primary classes, you can also study these aspects of mean, median, and mode. It is also be divided into two kind of category or different aspect, that is the group and ungroup mean, group and ungroup median, group and ungroup mode. So these are the six aspects of central tendency related to the mean, median, mode with the group and group category. So mean is also called the average value, and how we can get the data if we provided by these aspects. So uh, the central tendency is also be arranged in aspects. You can see the average. First, we get the data in the form of unsequencing aspects. First, we need to arrange the data. Like if the sequence we get in 0, 4, 2, 7, 5 in different aspects, so we need to arrange the data in sequencing aspect, that 0, 3, 4, 5, and 7 from the ascending order, the least values from the starting and the large value in the last one. So first you need to order that sequence, and if you need to find the median value, you need to find that aspect of this sequence, the middle data of the odd category. Why odd? 0, I mean 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. These are the five numbers out of which this term is in the middle order. And the middle order term in median, we call it's a middle term 4 in odd numbers. But if they are not odd, if they are even, then how we can find its median? So it's another category of formulation. So uh, the third placed is we called the median. The middle value we called a median. Arrangement of data ascending order. So first we got the sequence in different aspects, and out of 20 divided by 2 and 10th value, we can get the arrangement of median. So these are the formula to find different aspects. If the sequence of the number of ungrouped data you got from the data, and we need to find its median. The sequence is given in odd numbers. So if the quantity of number are like 4, so 4 plus 1, 5, an odd, odd. Odd means the number which are provided to the fifth one. Fifth, 5 plus 1, 6 divided by 2, that would be 3. Third value. So third value is your median if the sequence provided in odd. If the sequence is provided in the even numbers, so we need to use this formula. Even means the total numbers are in quantity of 4. So we can say 4 divided by 2, 4 divided by 2 plus 1. So we divide this term and divide to add 1 plus this one, add both these terms, divide by 2. We can got the value that if the sequence is in even numbers. So the median from ungrouped data, if they are even, we use this formula. And if the sequence is given in odd numbers, we can use this formula. Further, we moving towards that how we find the value of mean. Mean, another name is the average. Another third name is arithmetic mean. Arithmetic mean, mean, and average. These are the three names related relevance with the mean. And how we can find the value of mean, that total number of quantities, sum of all the quantities divided by total number of quantities. By this formula, we can find the value of mean, which is represented by bar of x. So mean, average, arithmetic mean, we can find by this formula. Mod, most repeated value of the data. If the number of repeated value is lies on the sequence, we can say it's a value of mod. For example, if we have the number of sequence in which 2, 2, 2, 3 times use of 2 in multiple numbers, so the mod from the sequence of ungroup, we can say 2. Multiple repeated value or repeated value in the data is our mod. Coming after that, the standard tendency, the measure of variation, that how, what is variation? Measure of variation is used when we want to relate or compare two or more than two data sets. So variation is lies out there. And how we can categorize these things, that range, standard deviation, variance. Standard deviation represented by S, variance is represented by S square, coefficient of variance is represented by CV, and mean deviation is represented by MD. Now, each and every individual term we need to discuss in detail. First one is the range. Range value is, you can see, maximum value from till to minimum value, that we call a range. So maximum value minus minimum value. 10 minus 0 is called 10. Coefficient of variation. So how we can find that standard deviation divided by mean value multiplied by 100. By this formula, we can got coefficient of variation. And standard deviation, how we can find the value? N are the total number of quantities, summation of x, sum of quantities, and summation of x squared, sum of the squares of quantities. So in this standard deviation, you can see S equal to square root of summation of x square minus summation of sorry, x square of summation. This is the mean, square, and then sum. And this term is the sum of all the value of x, which is the mean, then square of that value divided by n. Both the terms are subtracted to each other divided by the number of total interval minus 1. Then we can get the value of square root, and then we got the value standard deviation. So these are the standard deviation value, that how we can find that, how we can use these things, and by use to utilize. For example, here we can mention that value of x, that is x is 1, 1 over square 1, 2, and 2 over square 4, 3, 3 over square, that is 9. Addition of all these things of numbers, we can get the value of 6. That is summation of x is 6. Square of that summation is 6, 6 are 36. Here comes that summation of x square, that is 14. So if we got both the value of summation of x square and the uh, x of summation square and summation of x square, both the value we can use over here, and the total number of values are 3. Dividing both values and taking the square root of this thing, we can got the value of standard deviation. So that's how we can find the value of standard deviation. Coming towards the mean deviation, you can see the mean deviation is we need to find and conclude over here and further aspects over at we use.